Nala sat alone on her bed, holding the medical report tightly in her hands. Her mind was spinning. The doctor had told her that she needed treatment soon, and the consultation fee itself was high. She felt cold inside because she knew she had no money. For years, T-Main had given her only a small monthly allowance, just enough for groceries and Zariah's school needs. There was never room to save anything, not even a few dollars. Her only hope was the joint account, the one she thought was their family emergency fund. With shaking fingers, she opened the banking app on her phone. Her heart pounded as she typed the password. When the screen loaded, she froze. The balance showed $0. Nala felt the strength leave her legs. This couldn't be real. There had always been thousands of dollars saved. She refreshed the app again and again, hoping it was a glitch. But every time, the same cold number stared back at her. She opened the transaction history, and her eyes filled with horror. For the last 6 months, large amounts had been withdrawn again and again. All of it transferred to an account she had never heard of. The last withdrawal was just 3 days ago, the one that emptied everything. T-Main had planned this. He wasn't just leaving her. He wanted to break her so she couldn't fight back. Her hands shook as she ran to her jewelry box. She remembered her wedding jewelry, the pieces that belonged to her mother. But when she opened the box, her chest tightened. It was empty. Only a few fake pieces remained. T-Main had taken even those precious heirlooms. Feeling helpless, Nala remembered an old friend who worked at a legal aid agency. She quickly called her and explained everything, voice trembling. Her friend felt sorry but couldn't do much. She only gave Nala a name. "Go to Attorney Abernathy," her friend said. "His office is small and he isn't expensive, but he's honest and he truly cares. Maybe he can help." Nala had no other option. With the little cash left in her purse, she took a cab to the address. The place matched the description, a small office on the second floor of an old strip mall with faded paint. Attorney Abernathy, a calm, middle-aged black man with thick glasses, welcomed her. He listened carefully as she told him everything. He didn't interrupt, only nodded slowly and took notes. When she finished, he sighed. "Nala, this will be a very tough battle," he said softly. "Your husband has prepared everything. He doesn't just want a divorce. He wants to destroy you." Nala wiped her tears. "Attorney, I don't care about the money or the properties. I just want Zariah. Please help me. I can't pay now, but I will pay you in installments. I'll do anything." Abernathy watched her for a moment, and then spoke kindly. "Forget the money for now. What matters is that we must act fast. The lawsuit has already been filed. We need to respond immediately." He left the room and returned with a stack of photocopied documents. "These are the files your husband submitted," he said. "His lawyer, Attorney Cromwell, is known for using dirty tricks. Let's see what they have." Nala felt her heart beating hard. The first page shocked her. Photos of her own house. Dirty dishes piled in the kitchen. Toys scattered in the living room. Laundry overflowing in baskets. All taken to make her look careless. "But this is unfair," Nala cried. "These were taken when I was sick. I had a high fever for 3 days. He refused to help. He took them on purpose." Abernathy nodded sadly. "I know, but they're using this to show you as a lazy and irresponsible woman." He flipped to the next section, credit card statements filled with charges for luxury items and expensive dinners Nala never bought. "That's not me," she whispered. "He had the extra card. He always used it." She realized painfully that every small favor he had done was part of a trap. Attorney Abernathy kept turning the pages slowly until he reached a thick document near the end. His expression tightened. "Nala, this one is the most damaging." Her stomach dropped. "What is it, attorney?" "It's the testimony of an expert witness, a child psychologist." He handed her the report. Nayla's hands trembled as she read it. The language was cold and clinical. The report claimed that the psychologist had secretly observed her interactions with Zariah in public places, at the park, at the mall, even when she picked up her daughter from school. According to the report, Nala was emotionally unstable, unresponsive, and harmful to her child's development. It recommended full custody for Timane for the mental well-being of the child. "This is unbelievable," Nala whispered. "When did this supposed observation happen? I never even met a psychologist." Abernathy pointed to the details. "It says the observations were done from a distance. You wouldn't have noticed." "That's insane. Zariah is always happy with me. This is defamation." "Do you know this psychologist?" he asked gently. He flipped the cover. "Her name is Dr. Valencia. Her credentials look real. She seems professional." Nala stared at the name, confused. "No, attorney. I've never seen her. I don't know her at all." Her tears streamed down her cheeks. Everything felt like a nightmare that wouldn't end. The silent war at home. Nala went back home, but her world had changed. Living under the same roof with a man who wanted to destroy her was like living in a silent battlefield. Timane had not moved out. He simply shifted into the guest room, leaving the house cold and tense. Every morning, she had to look at his face and pretend everything was normal in front of their daughter. But Timane kept playing his game perfectly. He started coming home early from work, something he hadn't done in months. He brought gifts, surprises, and treats. One evening, he came with a huge box decorated with a cartoon princess. "This is your new tablet, Zariah," he said, with a loud, cheerful voice. Zariah squealed with happiness. "Thank you, Daddy." Nala stood nearby, folding laundry quietly. She knew exactly what he was doing, buying their daughter's loyalty, step by step. "You see, Princess," Timane said loudly, staring straight at Nala with a smirk. "When you live with Daddy, you'll get a new toy every week, not like someone who only knows how to fold clothes." Nala's hands froze. His words stabbed her heart. She wanted to scream. She wanted to fight back. But she couldn't, not in front of Zariah. If she raised her voice, it would prove the false claim that she was unstable. So she stayed quiet. She kept folding. She swallowed her tears. The daily humiliation. The emotional attacks continued. When Nala cooked dinner, he walked in, tasted the soup, and said loudly, "It's salty again. Never mind. Tomorrow we'll order takeout." When Nala tried to help Zariah with homework, he walked over. "Let me do it. Mommy's way is too confusing. You'll get mixed up." Each comment, each interruption, each insult, all were designed to make Nala look weak and incapable. Slowly, she began doubting herself. Was she really a bad cook? Was she really teaching wrong? Was she truly failing as a mother? Timane was rewriting her reality, and Zariah was caught in the middle. Some days, the little girl held on to Nala tightly. Other days, she seemed distant, as if confused by something her father whispered into her ear. The strange discovery. One night, Nala couldn't sleep. Her chest felt heavy. She quietly walked to Zariah's room to check on her. As she tucked her daughter in, she noticed something odd. Under Zariah's pillow, her small hand was gripping something. Carefully, Nala pulled it out. It was the old broken tablet, the one with the cracked screen, the one she had told Zariah not to use because the glass could cut her fingers. But why was she hiding it? The new tablet was on the desk. Why keep this broken one close to her heart? Nala didn't know. She couldn't understand. She thought it was just a child's emotional attachment. But that tablet held a truth that would soon change everything. The next morning, the courtroom was tense. The air was thick with expectation. Nala held Zariah's hand tightly while Timane walked in with his usual smug confidence, dressed in a crisp suit. He glanced at Nala and sneered. "Ready to lose today?" he whispered so only she could hear. Nala didn't reply. She simply kept her eyes on the judge, letting her heart beat steadily. She knew her strength was quiet now. Patience and careful planning would be her weapons. The judge entered. Everyone rose. The gavel struck the desk, signaling the start of proceedings. Attorney Abernathy whispered to Nala, "It's time. Are you ready to reveal the truth?" Nala nodded. Zoraya looked up at her mother with innocent curiosity. "Mommy," she whispered. Nala smiled softly. "Soon, princess. Soon." Zaria's courage. Zoraya, who had been unusually quiet since entering the courtroom, suddenly tugged on Nala's hand. She wanted to go forward. "Your Honor," she said, her small voice trembling but clear. I have something to show." Gasps filled the courtroom. Timane's face turned pale, a crack forming in his confident mask. "What is this? A child interrupting court?" he barked, trying to regain control. The judge raised a hand. "Silence! Let the child speak." Zoraya walked slowly to the center, holding the broken tablet firmly. She looked directly at the judge. "This is mine. I recorded it. You need to see." Attorney Cromwell stood abruptly, panic in his eyes. "Your Honor, this is inadmissible. A recording by a minor cannot be considered evidence. This is illegal." Abernathy stepped forward, calm and assertive. "Your Honor, this recording directly exposes criminal activity. We cannot ignore it. It concerns the child's well-being and her mother's safety." The judge's gaze hardened. "Connect it to the court monitors immediately." Timane's jaw dropped. "No, that tablet. It's useless, manipulated," he shouted, his voice cracking. The video revealed the clerk carefully connected Zoraya's tablet to the courtroom monitors. The room went silent as the large screen flickered to life. The video showed the living room, familiar, warm, safe, and then 2 figures entered, Timane and Dr. Valencia. Nala's heart stopped. She recognized the space, the sofa, the plant. Her stomach churned as she saw Timane laughing, hugging Valencia, whispering to her in ways he never did in public. Valencia was not in her professional attire. Her hair flowed loosely, her posture casual. She smiled and whispered, "Are you sure this will work? Your wife is so stupid." Timane laughed. "She won't suspect a thing. All the money is already transferred to your account. Once the verdict comes tomorrow, I'll have custody of Zoraya, the house, the child, everything." Nala's knees weakened. Every word confirmed her worst fears. Every lie Timane had told in court, every accusation he had made was a trap. Zoraya, standing next to the clerk, pointed to the screen as the video continued. Her mother saw her daughter's eyes. Sharp, observant, brave. Justice strikes. The judge's gavel hit the desk with force. "Security! Restrain him!" Timane lunged toward the clerk, but 2 guards overpowered him. His arrogance had evaporated. Panic replaced it. Valencia tried to escape, but the exits were closed. She screamed hysterical, unmasking the false professionalism she had worn so well in court. "Bring her here," the judge ordered. Officers dragged her to the front. She was no longer a credible psychologist, only a criminal exposed. The room was silent except for Nala's quiet sobs. Zoraya stood strong, her small hand still on the tablet. The judge's eyes pierced Timane. "Your lawsuit, based on lies, adultery, and fraud, is dismissed." He turned to Nala. "Full custody of Zoraya is granted to you. The house, all assets frozen immediately, and a countersuit for divorce is recommended. Do you wish to proceed?" Nala's voice, firm but trembling, said, "Yes, Your Honor. I demand a divorce." "Good," the judge continued. "Both Timane and Valencia will face criminal charges for conspiracy, fraud, perjury, and theft." Mother and daughter reunited, Nala and Zoraya embraced in the center of the courtroom. Tears of fear, sadness, and despair were replaced by relief and triumph. The little heroine had saved her mother, not with strength, but with courage and logic. Outside the courtroom, the story made headlines. Karma had been swift. Timane sentenced to 12 years, Valencia to 8, and their accomplice attorney disbarred. Nala moved with Zaraya to a new home, cozy, warm, filled with laughter. Nala started a small catering business, finally free from the shadow of her ex-husband's lies. Zaraya, planting flowers in the small garden, looked up at her mother. "Mommy, the flowers will bloom soon." Nala smiled, brushing her daughter's hair. "Yes, princess, just like us. New beginnings, new life." And for the first time in years, they were truly free. Months had passed since that fateful day in court. The story of the broken tablet, the greedy husband, and the cunning psychologist had dominated headlines for weeks. Nayla and Zaraya were now living a life completely removed from the shadows of their past, free, safe, and filled with hope. The apartment they moved into was modest, but warm and inviting. Each corner was decorated with laughter and memories, a stark contrast to the cold, oppressive house they had left behind. Photos of mother and daughter adorned the walls. The smell of freshly baked cookies lingered in the air. Nala had turned her passion into a career. A small catering business thrived in her cozy kitchen. Orders were streaming in, and her culinary talents, once belittled by Timane, were now celebrated. Business was tiring, but every dish she prepared brought her joy and a renewed sense of independence. Zaraya, full of energy and curiosity, had found a new routine. School was no longer a source of stress, and she was finally able to play and explore without fear. She planted flowers in their small garden, her little hands digging into the soil, her laughter echoing through the apartment. One sunny afternoon, they went to the park. Zaraya ran ahead, her small feet kicking up the fallen leaves. "Mommy, look! The flowers are going to bloom soon!" she shouted with excitement. Nala sat on a nearby bench, smiling at her daughter, feeling the warmth of the sun and the freedom that surrounded them. As Zaraya returned, Nala knelt to embrace her. "You're amazing, princess. You saved me," Nala whispered, tears welling in her eyes. Zaraya tilted her head. "I just wanted to show the truth, Mommy. I didn't want anyone to be hurt. I just wanted to protect you." Nala held her daughter tightly, overwhelmed by the realization that her child's courage and wisdom had helped them escape a life of lies and manipulation. In that moment, all of Nala's doubts and fears melted away. She had never failed as a mother. She had raised a heroine. New beginnings. The city outside their window buzzed with life, but inside, Nala and Zaraya found peace. Friends and neighbors admired Nala's dedication and warmth. Her business continued to grow, and with every order delivered, she felt more independent and strong. They were building more than a home. They were building trust, love, and memories. Each day was a step away from the past, each night a reminder that they had survived together. Zaraya often recounted her observations and small adventures. She had kept the old tablet not as a toy, but as proof. Proof that truth and justice could triumph, no matter the odds. She had understood, even as a child, the value of honesty, courage, and loyalty. One evening, Nayla sat with Zaraya on the balcony, watching the city lights sparkle. "Princess, can I ask you something?" she said softly. Zaraya nodded. "What, Mommy? Why did you record the video on the tablet?" Zaraya's eyes glimmered as she recalled. "Because I didn't like Auntie Valencia. She pretended to be nice, but she wasn't. And Daddy, he said bad things about you. I wanted the judge to see who was telling the truth." Nella smiled, her heart full. "You were so brave." "I just wanted you safe, Mommy," Zaraya said simply. At that moment, Nayla understood fully. The past could not define them. The courage of a little girl had restored justice and reshaped their lives. She had not failed. She had raised a daughter who would carry the torch of truth and integrity. Epilogue. Life slowly settled into a rhythm of love, laughter, and freedom. Nala's business flourished, Zariah excelled in school, and they cherished every moment together. Their bond, strengthened by hardship, was unbreakable. The villains had faced justice. Tmain imprisoned, Valencia disbarred, and Cromwell punished. Karma had arrived swiftly, but the real victory lay in the daily peace and happiness of Nala and Zariah. Together, they planted new seeds in their garden, watched flowers bloom, and embraced a life full of possibility. Every day was a reminder that courage, truth, and love could overcome the darkest of schemes. And as Nala watched her daughter run through the park, sunlight dancing on her hair, she whispered softly, "We are free now, princess. Free to live, love, and be happy." Zariah smiled up at her mother. "Yes, Mommy, and we'll always be together." The world was theirs now, bright, hopeful, and full of endless possibilities. The story of survival, courage, and justice had found its happy ending.